Dr. Darian is with us, and we're talking bird flu. There's a big push to make more vaccines. Some money was just injected to make sure that there's a vaccine.
Yeah, and you might have seen this headline. You know, federal health officials have announced just this past weekend that they're providing up to $72 million for vaccine manufacturers. Now, the point of this is just mainly to be prepared. We know that the bird flu is a persistent problem that's going on in places like California, home to some of the largest cattle herds, and they've gotten a high amount of cattle that are unfortunately infected. Now they're trying to do the work to cull those animals to make sure that they control the infection, but just in the very same way that we saw in the pandemic, there are many animals that are asymptomatic without symptoms. So you can only imagine how difficult this must be to control. So in an effort to prepare for that, U.S. officials and as well as the Health and Human Services Department have put increased funding into making sure that we have available vaccines in the event that we had a problem.
So can we talk more about the symptoms and risks?
Yeah, so the symptoms mainly were just, number one, those who are most at risk or those who are mostly associated with close contact with these infected animals. So that unfortunately includes dairy workers, cattle workers, and those that have presented to the hospital. Many of those had limited symptoms to no symptoms at all, but those who presented often had symptoms of the common flu, fever, muscle aches, but something really interesting, also conjunctivitis or redness of the eyes. That seems to be very much associated with this. Now, we haven't had evidence that shows that this virus can transfer from one person to another, but as we step into the flu season, unfortunately, we have to be prepared, because in the event that someone were to become infected with both the flu and bird flu, then that can lead to problems later on that can lead to bird flu becoming contagious. So all of this is in an effort to make sure that we're prepared.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, but thankfully the risk to the general population remains low. I know we have to know about these things. It's just important to be aware of.
Eva's like, that's a lot to take in.
Yeah. We're heading into the season.
We got to be prepared.